The Little Gray Duck's Special Journey. Once upon a time, on a beautiful farm, there lived a kind and gentle mother duck. Early one morning, as the golden sun rose into the sky, Mother Duck sat snugly in her nest, watching over her eggs. "Today might be a very special day," she said softly to herself, feeling excited. Soon, one by one, the eggs began to crack open. Crack, crack, out came fluffy little ducklings, chirping. Quack, quack, in their tiny voices. "Welcome to this beautiful world, my little darlings," Mother Duck said with a warm smile. There was one egg that was different. It was much bigger than the others and hadn't moved at all. Mother Duck waited patiently and waited some more. Finally, the big egg cracked, and out popped a large, gray duckling. He looked completely different from the other ducklings. Mother Duck looked at the gray duckling with love in her eyes. She gently kissed him and said, "You are the most special one. God must have given you a special mission." The little gray duck grew up alongside his siblings, but the other farm animals often teased him. "Why are you so big and gray? You don't look like a duck at all," they jeered. The little gray duck lowered his head in sadness. He couldn't understand why he was so different from everyone else. Whenever he felt down, Mother Duck would wrap her wings around him and say, "Don't be sad, my little one. Every child is unique in their own way. One day, you'll discover how truly special you are." Mother Duck taught the little gray duck to swim, find food, and try new things. But despite her love and encouragement, he still felt out of place. One day, the little gray duck decided he needed to find a place where he truly belonged. "Maybe there's a world out there for someone like me," he thought. On a bright sunny morning, he said goodbye to Mother Duck. "Go ahead, my dear," she said, hugging him tightly. "No matter where you go, I will always be proud of you. Remember, you are one of a kind." With those loving words, the little gray duck waddled away and began his journey. He crossed golden fields and wandered through lush green forests, eventually arriving at a quiet little lake. As winter approached, the weather turned cold and harsh. The little gray duck found shelter near the lake, curling up in a small hole to stay warm. Sometimes, he would see flocks of beautiful swans flying gracefully across the sky. Their snow-white feathers sparkled in the sunlight, and they moved with such elegance. "They're so beautiful," the little gray duck thought. "Maybe one day, I'll find my own special place too." Winter felt long and lonely, but finally, spring arrived. The sun warmed the earth, and the frozen lake began to thaw. One morning, the little gray duck woke up feeling stronger and different. He waddled to the edge of the lake, curious to see his reflection in the water. When he looked down, he was amazed. Instead of seeing a gray, awkward duckling, he saw a graceful swan with snowy white feathers and a long, elegant neck. "Is this really me?" he whispered in awe. Spreading his powerful wings, the little swan took to the sky. He soared through the air and joined a flock of swans on the lake. The swans welcomed him with open wings. Together, they swam, flew, and played. For the first time, the little gray duck, now a beautiful swan, felt like he truly belonged. One sunny day, the young swan was gliding gracefully across a crystal-clear lake with his new friends. He loved his life among the other swans, where he felt accepted and appreciated. But deep in his heart, he missed the farm and his family, especially his kind and loving mother duck. One morning, he made up his mind. "I must go back to visit the farm and see my family," he told his swan friends. They wished him well as he spread his powerful wings and soared across the sky. When the young swan reached the farm, it looked just as he remembered. The golden fields swayed gently in the breeze, and the barnyard animals were busy with their daily chores. He landed gracefully near the pond where he had grown up. "Who is that?" the animals whispered to one another, amazed by the elegant swan that had appeared. Mother Duck was teaching her younger ducklings to swim when she noticed the swan. "Could it be?" she whispered, waddling closer. "Mother, it's me," said the swan, his voice filled with happiness. Mother Duck's eyes sparkled with tears of joy. "Oh, my dear, you've grown so beautiful and strong. I knew you were destined for great things," she said, embracing him with her wings. As they caught up, the swan noticed something unusual. The animals on the farm seemed nervous, and the air was filled with tension. "What's wrong, Mother?" he asked. Mother Duck sighed. "A sly fox has been lurking around the farm. It's been scaring the ducklings and stealing food. We're all very worried." The swan's heart sank. He remembered how safe and warm the farm had always felt, and he didn't like the thought of his family being in danger. "Don't worry, Mother," he said firmly. "I'll protect you and the farm." That evening, as the sun went down, the farm became quiet. The swan stood by the pond, watching over everyone. The stars twinkled in the night sky. Suddenly, he heard a rustling sound in the bushes nearby. He stood tall, his white feathers shining in the moonlight. Then, out of the shadows, a sly fox jumped out and ran straight toward the ducklings. The little ducklings quacked in fear and huddled close to their mother. The swan spread his big wings and stepped in front of them. "Stay back," he said firmly. The fox stopped for a moment, surprised to see such a big and strong swan, but soon, it bared its sharp teeth and growled. "Move aside, silly bird. I'm not afraid of you." The swan did not back down. He rushed at the fox and pecked it hard in the eyes with his sharp beak. The fox yelped in pain and stumbled backward, trying to escape. But the swan didn't stop. He pecked again and again, forcing the fox to retreat. Finally, the fox turned and ran into the bushes, its tail between its legs. It dashed back into the forest and never dared to return. The farm animals cheered with joy. "Hooray for the swan! He is our hero!" they shouted. Mother Duck waddled over, her eyes full of pride and love. She said, "Do you remember what I told you? You are the most special one. God must have given you a special mission. And this time, you have fulfilled it. You protected your family. I am so proud of you, my dear." True courage is not about being the biggest or the strongest, but about standing up for those you love. Never forget, kindness and bravery will always make the world a better place. The swan smiled, feeling happier than ever before. He stayed on the farm for a few more days, helping everyone feel safe again. He also taught his little brothers and sisters how to swim and be brave. Before leaving, the swan gathered everyone by the pond and said, "Remember, we are stronger when we stand together. No matter how different we are, love and courage can help us overcome any challenge." With that, the swan spread his wings and flew back to the lake, his heart full of happiness. The farm animals told his story for generations so that every duckling and chick would know about the brave swan who returned to protect his family. And so, the little gray duckling grew into a beautiful swan and lived happily ever after, always knowing he had a family and a place where he belonged.